Welcome back, everybody. David Feldman-Makrias here. And today I'm going to talk about something a little bit different, but I think it's something, especially today in this day and age, not only that I need to instill better habits with, but also it would benefit so many other people if they instill these better habits as well in their careers, in their business. So today I want to talk about setting boundaries and setting limitations. One of the reasons that sparked this video is because whenever your business or your career or anything like that is going through, dare I say, a growth spurt, there's a lot of great things, right? There's a lot of great things, and I'm very, very fortunate to be in that position. And I want to first express gratitude for that, because with that is great opportunity to serve, great opportunity to apply, learnings and teachings to help better other people and better other situations. Now, with that comes challenges. And with that, especially in the service-based, let's call it the service-based, any industry that's service-based, there's the natural inclination, especially as you progress and you get better and so on and so forth. There's the natural inclination to, want to serve people and give as much as you can. And although I promote that, and it's something that has led me to this point, it's not a pure, how do I say? It's not a pure one size fits all. We have to think about this on a dichotomy level. And a dichotomy meaning there's a spectrum, right? There's a throttle on, throttle off, but also throttle halfway. So, how do we find the balance, and what maybe can we do about certain things, and how do we phrase certain things to effectively set boundaries in a professional setting, still maintain integrity, and avoid any tumultuous actions like wanting to give up, wanting to quit, lashing out, holding down emotions, things of that nature. So, this video is just kind of an all honest talk about it, because honestly, I'm reading a book. It's called No More Mr. Nice Guy. And, it's a little tough for me to say, but I just look at my applications in business and in life, and I resemble a lot of qualities of a nice guy. And it's not just reflective to guys either. It's gals. It's however you want to think about that. It's just nice people qualities in general, and it's good to be nice. However, there is a dichotomy, there is a balance, and it's important to talk about. So, without going too much into it, I just, it's interesting when I have ideas. Sometimes I get up super early. Maybe some of you can relate, but I like to go on Bard. I don't like to use ChatGPT as much because the free version has a time, or has that limitation. But rather than just a Google search, I like the custom answer. It starts stimulating some thoughts. So all I did was look up best ways to set boundaries for work or for a client. And I think this is really, really interesting to go over, because, it's not something that's hugely talked about, but I feel as though, oh my goodness, especially if you're in the any service-based industry where you serve clients, how do you effectively set boundaries? Because you have to realize, when setting boundaries, it's actually good for not only yourself, but it's actually good for the person that you're setting the boundaries with. It creates a more healthy relationship. It promotes, better effective communication. And it actually instills an element of respect in them for you, which is overall better, because if they respect you, whether it be a career or a client situation in a professional setting, or even your personal lives, personal situations, when you have respect of people, then they're going to treat you better and your overall quality of life is going to be better. So let's just kind of stem from this, and I'm going to give my little anecdotes and we'll go from there. So first says setting boundaries is crucial for maintaining a healthy work-life balance and preventing burnout, both internally with yourself and externally with clients. Here are some effective ways to approach it. Absolutely. If we're not effectively communicating, you know, that, hey, we're taking on too much, or hey, I want to help grow, but you know, I just can't be everything to everyone. It has to start here. And I think one of the big things that I've struggled with is, I'm not trying to make this sound like a therapy session, but maybe it is a little bit. One of the things that I've struggled with is I don't like to say no. And that goes for a lot of different opportunities. And earlier on in my career, that benefited me immensely because employers look upon that as a great attitude. It's great to get your feet wet and learn and do all these different things. And I think earlier on in your career, to be able to say no, to not say no. Wait, what am I saying? Um, to be able to not say no, like you say yes to things, is a benefit, right? As you get more mature and you take on additional responsibilities, you have to learn to limit and say no. And how do we do that in an effective way, right? How do we say no in a professional setting or to a client that's paying us or to an employer that is paying us? Um, well, it, I've had to think about this myself. It doesn't always feel comfortable, right? Even for me, even if with people I've been working with alongside with for a long period of time, if they need something, I really don't like to say no, because I want to give. I want to instill that relationship. I also want to make sure that they see the value coming from me, and I always like to give added value. But this is a necessary trait. So let me give an example. How do we say no to maybe an employer, right? Maybe an employer is quickly expanding and you've provided to be a pivotal asset to their team or what have you, and more is being requested of you. So, what are some tactics to effectively say no? Because I don't believe the right aspect is to shut down, right? If someone asks me to do something, um, like let's play a scenario. If someone asked me to do something, hey, David, we need you to take on these many more tasks. And I'm maybe confronted in a room or a situation or whatever where it's a couple different managers or a couple different people. And I've been in these rooms before where it's like, David, we need you to do this. And you can go, okay, that's fine. That's the normal tendency reaction. Of course, earlier on in my career, maybe you know, um, this is why you grow quickly, but also get limited, is because, okay, you don't say no. So how do you say no? Do you just say no? Well, no. I'm not going to take on these extra tasks to your boss. Your boss asks you, okay, should I take on these extra tasks? And then you say, no, I'm not going to. Well, that's not very good, right? I don't think. Like just a knee jerk reaction of, no, I can't do that. Well, I don't feel like that works in a professional setting. If you have a respectable employer that values you and considers you and all this stuff, you should be able to have an open conversation with whoever you're speaking to, whether they be higher up or not. I always like to bring solutions, right? You can say no, but have that solution orientation in mind. So that would be, okay. rather than, saying, no, manager, I am not going to do those tasks. You could say something like, I would, and this is if you would like to take on the tasks. I could take on those tasks for you, hiring manager or whoever it is. Not hiring manager, your manager. My plate is pretty full right now, though, and I'm having a hard time thinking about prioritizing my tasks because I only have a limited time of what I can work on. Let me write down my priorities. And honestly, you should be able to say, let me write down my priorities, right? Um, let me think about this. Can we reconvene in an hour or in the next day or what have you? And that way we can figure it out together. And that would be an effective way of not you're not really saying no either. You're saying you're open to it, but you need help discerning things. And if you have a good manager and a good boss, then or a good client, then honestly, they'll come back to you and they'll work with you and they'll respect you a lot for it because it's not that you're saying no, it's just that you're saying, well, how do I focus on so many different things, right? How do I focus on so many different things? And you're just being honest. This is honest feedback, honest communication. Any team member of mine or employee of mine that would come up to me and do something like that, especially when I dumped on a whole bunch of tasks, absolutely. I'd be like, "Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, let's do that." Because you're not putting the pressure back on me as the manager. You're coming up with a solution, recognizing and being aware of the problem and then foregoing that. So, I like that scenario a lot because and it's something for you to be armed with, right? Because you're going to be put in situations, especially if you're a high performer, especially if you're getting clients, especially even if you're a seasoned performer that's been working in industry for a long period of time and you have some clients that maybe try and ride you a little bit or take advantage. Um, this application should be used too. If they ask you to do something, you could say, you know what, we definitely can do that, right? We definitely can do that. Um, and you know what, we want to. Right now, these are the priority of our tasks, or we could write a little script. Let's write a script. Let's open a text edit. Let's see what we got. So um, let's come up with a framework, right? How to say no in a professional setting. Don't actually say no. That'd be step number one. You don't necessarily need to say no. In some instances, if you're being treated not well, or someone is clearly disrespecting you, or clearly, you know, um, I don't know, just trying to dump on you, then you can say no. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. You can definitely do that. But if it's someone that you respect and it's someone that can have an open conversation and that you trust enough to share and communicate with, then you don't actually have to just say, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm setting my boundary. I mean, I don't think that's right either. But here's how you can do it, right? You can say, you know, um, I understand what you're asking. Let me rephrase. You know what? Can put this as, let me make sure I understand what you are asking, and then rephrase. Rephrase. What they're asking. I need you to take on this client. I need you to coordinate this. I need you to do this and this and this. Okay. So that way you understand. So then after that, you could say something like, And if you would like to take it on, let's assume you would like to take it on and you want to do those responsibilities. What you can do is you could say, I would like to take this on, but but I'm having a hard time uh, figuring out how to prioritize my tasks. Can I write? Can I take a bit to write a quick short list of my tasks and priorities to see where um, they balance with this new assignment, right? That's a perfectly logical thing. And then say, can we reconvene at such and such time? Right? I would put it pretty quick. It could be that day. I wouldn't put it weeks from now, but oh, can we reconvene this afternoon? Can reconvene in a couple days? Can we reconvene blah 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 blah, depending upon the urgency of what they're having to ask you to do. Um that's definitely a nice framework, right? So this is a don't actually say no if you don't actually say no if you don't have to. I don't even like how that's phrased though. Don't actually say it. I'm not trying to encourage people to not say no. I'm trying to encourage people to, come in with a solution. Always come in with a solution. You can just say no, but should you? Right? And I would say this part depends on if people are treating you with respect and you have an effective communication environment, right? If you don't have an effective communication environment, a hard no, that's okay. If you do have an effective communication environment, then, you know, have awareness, think about a solution, so on and so forth. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Um, so yeah. Okay, so this is in a job setting. Job setting. How about a client setting? I need you to take on this new, or, no, that's not really it. What would be a client setting example? A client setting example would be, can you do this for me? Or texting you off hours and saying, we need this posted. All you got to do is set limits, you know, um, and properly set limits, guidelines. You don't have to say, no, I can't post it for you right now because it's a Saturday, and you're not working at that time. I don't think that's effective either. Um, One thing you can do is just say, definitely can post this. Definitely, you could just say, I'd like to be very short and direct and simple. That's how I handle clients. Text received, you know, text received or info or, idea received. We will take care of this on Monday. Very simple. That's one way to just set a boundary. Um, if a client keeps trying to push you, because some clients are pretty strong willed, especially if they have a business where they are dependent on being strong willed, then you need to have a tougher conversation with them saying, hey, look, I'll happily post on Monday. If that's a problem, then we need to figure that out, and so on and so forth. You know, can you do this for me? And maybe that that's not in your foreseeable contract. Maybe you want to add an extra value item, you know? So I'm going a couple ideas at once. So can you do this for me? You can say, absolutely. As a courtesy, um, you have to, I say give them a one-time, two-time shot. Absolutely. As a courtesy, we'll take care of this for you. Even though your services doesn't include it. You don't want it. No, we don't want to put that. Even though this is a bit outside, not a bit, even though this is outside your the services we provide, we'll be happy to take care of this for you. This post for you. And you could say one time, you could say whatever it is, and that's just, yeah, no problem. We'll do it for you. Even though it's not included, we'll be happy to do this for you one time. You know, and it's kind of a little hard boundary at the end. Some people might feel uncomfortable with that, but it really does help, right? And if you have a client that, you know, doesn't want to push you around or tries to push you around, then some of these communication tactics you might have to amp them up a little bit and be a little more direct rather than wishy-washy. So depends on the setting, depends on the client, depends on a lot of situations. You can calibrate it up or down, but this is a nice positive solution oriented. Hey, can you do this for me? Absolutely. Even though it's outside of the services I provide, I'd be happy to do this this time. You know, we'll be happy to do this. We'll be happy to accomplish the posting this time. You know, that's very easy. That's a nice, easy way to set boundaries. And people are going to test your boundaries all the freaking time. So having these little, job, like go-to frames and client go-to frames, it's going to help a lot. And I wish I used more. I'm gonna do a better job of practicing what I preach because I need to get more of that understanding. And I figure that there's a lot of other people out there too, especially when it comes to a job setting or a client setting. It's like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do? Right? They pay me, so I guess I have to do it. Not necessarily, right? So hopefully this gives you some framework and some tools to help you throughout the situations that you encounter in your endeavors. I'll include this document in the video or in the description. It'll be in the description of this video. And let's see if I missed anything. Define priorities and workload. Yep, that's pretty much clear. Establish clear working hours, as we did in that example. Utilize technology. Set up autoresponders for emails outside your working hours and mute notifications. Yeah, mute notifications. I hate autoresponders. I never use them. I always think like, oh, this person is blah, 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 blah. Great. I never use them, but that's me. Learn to say no. We talked about that. And then take breaks. That sounds good. Clients, clear communication from the start. Set and reiterate. Just because you said it one time doesn't mean you shouldn't say it again. Confident in your pricing. Set boundaries on revisions of scope creep. Define the number of revisions rounds included in your agreement. And then learn to walk away too. If you have somebody that's not treating you right, even if it's for a lot of money, you have to feel free to walk away at times because you'll earn respect for yourself then. And if you have respect for yourself, then other people will have respect for you. So guys, thank you so much. This video actually turned out a little bit longer than I originally anticipated, but I think it's very necessary. And I hope this bodes you well. Like, comment, subscribe if you liked it, and comment if you think differently. Thanks so much. See you in the next one.